My name is Bo Bryant with SureDrive USA. I'd like to discuss the features and benefits of our Mantis clip hidden deck fastening systems. The most important thing and number one overall benefit is that we feel like and know that our clip system is number one in the marketplace. Best performance has been tested and verified in independent lab testing versus concealed lock and tiger claw that you get 42%, almost 43% better holding power and lateral movement. 391 foot-pounds is what it takes to our first movement versus our competitors at 274%. When you look at that, it's exactly a 42.7% difference in lateral movement. What this means to you is if you're in an environment where you have wide daily temperature changes, this is going to give you better holding power and not allow the deck to walk and loosen as much as some of our competitors' clips. This will make for a stronger deck board and a longer lasting deck. Next is ease of installation. This is a no-brainer with our system, and we'll go over it a little bit more in depth with our new eliminator tool, but it's very simple. The clip is larger, easier to handle than our competitors. When we look at the tool in a minute, it's just a drop in the slide, fire the gun, move on to the next. You don't have to tilt boards in, slide guns out. Very, very simple, whether you are hand screwing or screwing with the tool. And again, we'll go through this in more detail in a few minutes. Next would be custom fit and selection. Whereas with our competitors, they take one clip and try to generically fit it to all the different deck boards. Where we get our performance is by taking mainly 4 sizes and working with the 4 sizes of grooves that are most seen in the deck market. We've got a 345, a 385, a 396, and we also have a special Trex clip design. These allow us to be able to give you the performance that you need and give us the holding power that's necessary. When it comes to complete product offering, along with the clips that we use to put the boards to the joist, we have start clips, which are starter clips that are used at the ledger board, whereas it eliminates people having to face screw, or excuse me, not face screw, but screw down the first board. And then we have finished clips, which we'll show. They're an L clip that can be used at the end of the boards, again allowing screws to not be used, and I'll pull some of those out in a second. Also, we have a transition clip. We're the only company in the market to have a transition clip. What this does is it allows for detailed work, picture framing, and it keeps your deck boards at the same height whether you're using a grooved board or a non-grooved board. They also come in stainless steel and carbon steel. What we have found is if you're within less than a mile of the beach, you probably want to use stainless steel, but if you get outside of that area, you can go with the carbon steel. The coating that we use is a special coating called Dorkin, which is used by the luxury automakers in Germany on their exterior fasteners. And everywhere we've seen it, it's given us far superior resistance to corrosion than is necessary in those areas. The two other major factors that we look at here that differentiate us. One are affordability. You're looking at about 90 cents per square feet to install this. The other one, and probably more important, is joist integrity. What we've done is with our clips, we have a base on them. And you can see that, and we'll be able to show it a little more with the board on the frame. It allows the deck board to sit up off the joist, promoting airflow. If your boards are sitting flat on your joist, that traps water in there, promotes mold and mildew, and weakens the overall strength of your decking system, causing deflection in the deck board. So, you know, we feel like with all these benefits and features, we definitely have the number one system in the market. A few key points just to remember from this. Best performance. We've got tests to back that up. Ease of installation. We'll show that with the eliminator tool. It's just a drop and go. Custom fit. You know, you've got 4 different sizes to fit the board. Along with that, you've got packaging options. You've got 50 square foot boxes that come with loose screws for hand screwing, and 50 square foot boxes that... Let's talk a little bit about the revolution revolutionary eliminator tool that we've come up with, that we go back to one of the selling features, which was ease of installation. And from everything we've seen and worked against on the market, we really feel this is true. It's basically just a joist hanger nailer that we've converted into a tool that will shoot our ballistic nail screw, as we talked in our packaging offering, as a way to be able to do this quickly. First thing you want to do, obviously, and this is going to sound simple to you guys that have dealt with tools, but a lot of times when we're doing stuff, we get busy and kind of forget it. But we want to open up the case, obviously. First thing we want to do when we get the tool out is we want to make sure this tool is oiled. It comes oiled from the factory, but we recommend that the first time that you use it, that you take your little oil bottle here. This one's already open. We opened it up, so we'd be ready to go here. And just drop 3 droplets of oil in there. And that should be good to get started with. The other thing that we want to recommend to you while you're doing this, just for safety reasons, is to make sure that you're using your safety glasses when you're demoing the tool, or anybody else is shooting the tool also. So we'll clear this off here. And one of the things that SureDrive and Pan American has evolved into as a culture, and something that we're big on now, is something called voice of the customer. And where that comes into play here is with the improvements that we have made to this tool. You know, you're always evolving and looking to get better from the first time you put it out there. So some of the things that we've come up with. Number one, something that's very simple. You know, you've got a guy who's up on a deck and he says, hey, this is great and everything, but when I put my clip in there and, you know, I tilt my tool down, the clip would fall out. So based on some conversations that we had with contractors, we've come up with the solution by dropping a rare earth magnet in the tool. I don't know if you can see it there underneath the nose piece, but what that allows you to do is when you load that clip, it's in there. Simple, great improvement to the tool. Secondly, you know, another complaint of the contractor was that, you know, the guys are out there running their nailers at 120 psi, and they don't want to have to go down and change their compressors when they change tools to shoot the deck boards on. So what we did was we came up with the way that we specially milled the driver blade down to be able to use the eliminator tool, whether it's shooting 75 psi or 120. Great feature. Guys loved it. Speeds it up. You know, they don't have to worry about messing up driver blades or messing up clips. It's just plug and play, basically is what it is. Third thing we did was we beefed up the feed rail a little bit. You know, these guys are going to be rough and tough out there, throw the tool around a little bit, and they use it to knock stuff around, so we've beefed that up to give it a little better durability. One big improvement that we saw that we were having issues with, obviously this is a nailer by nature. And if you know the heads of nails, they're right angle. Well, the ballistic nail screw that we use is a countersunk head. And what we were seeing was, due to that right angle, we would have chances of jamming the screws at the end of the strip. With about 5 screws left, you would load that new strip in and it would cock those 5 in front of it, and it would jam in that right angle feeder. So what we've come back in and done is we've come back in and created a feed rail that is specifically designed with a feed mechanism to handle the right angle head. So that alone was a huge improvement to the tool. So we've made 4 very nice changes that have really made the tool work a lot better, and the feedback from the contractors is exactly the same. Let's discuss installing some deck boards and putting our clip system on the joist. We discussed earlier our complete selection and total package that we offer the market that not our competitors do. The first thing that we've got, and it separates us from our competition, is all our competitors want you to screw down the first board. Well, what we've come up with is this start clip, or J clip, which allows you to be able to use a clip system on the very first board. So at the ledger board of your house, you want to put these down, you want to hand screw them in. It allows you to have a good clean look. A lot of people mention that the first board they see when they walk into the house, obviously, is that board where they look down to make sure they don't trip going through the threshold. So this has allowed us to start with a very clean look, no fasteners seen, and it separates us again from our competitors who require the first board to be screwed down. So as you can see on our little frame here, we've got our start clips down. Very easy to install, as we said. That's one of the keys here. With a lot of our competitors, you've got to tilt the board in, slide it under. With this, we can just push it straight in. You get a nice snug fit, due to the custom fit of the clips based on the groove heights. We talked about that, giving us better holding power, better performance with your deck. So we've got our starter clips down, got our first board in place, and we want to load the screws, the nail screws. So we're just going to drop them in, slide them down and pull them back, and we're ready to go. One other feature that we didn't really talk about with the tool is we've got a special safety device or mechanism called a lockout device, and it's just to prevent the tool from being dry fired and messing up the driver blade. What it does is when you get down to the last 5 screws, it's not going to allow you to fire. So you'll have to put in a new strip, and then you'll be able to go right back to it. Again, just a safety mechanism of the tool that allows the tool to be more durable and trouble-free. So okay, we've got our first deck board down, and we're going to take our clip. Always want to take the clip with the single wing out. We're just going to drop it in place, and as you can see, as we demonstrated before, I can tilt it around and it doesn't fall off. So we're just going to get it on the board, fire it in. All right. With a lot of our competitors, they have to tilt the gun in, they have to tuck it under, fire it, and they have to tilt it to slide it out. With ours, again, it's just a simple drop it in, making sure that the tool is flat on the joist and fully engaged into the board. Very simple. Again, flat on the joist. And as you can see, there's the little base there where we talked about allowing the board to stand up off the joist to give us our joist integrity. Let's discuss the finish and transition clips that go along with our Mantis system. It helps us to have the most complete system, as we've discussed before. First would be your transition clip. Let's say we've got a grooved board, and we've discussed that the transition clip is when people are doing more detailed work, picture framing, want to give it a contrast or something like that. So it's basically a one-sided Mantis that can be shot down with a tool or screwed down by hand. And what it does, it allows you to lock into your groove board and then come along with your solid edge board. Gives you the correct spacing. Also allows, again, as we talked about joist integrity, the base underneath the board to keep your solid edge board up off the deck, allowing for airflow to help with joist integrity and drying. At the end, there's 2 ways we can use our finish clip, basically an L bracket. On a flush fit, you want to put it against the joist and screw over top. Your fascia board will cover this up, so that's not an issue there. Also, the other way that it may be used is if you've got an overhang at the end. So we want to screw it to the joist and then screw it underneath your overhanging board, which will finish that off. So again, with us, with your Mantis package, you've got starter clips, the regular joist clip, the finish clip, and the transition clip, giving us the most complete package in the marketplace. None of our competitors have anything close to what we've got as far as a complete package. I want to thank you again for your time. Look forward to working with you guys in the future, and Mantis is the way to go.